Good morning, friends. The weather is very cold and I am under the weather. But I am duty bound, so after grabbing a cup of green tea, I am fully settled to share with you my 30th important case law, which is in the syllabus of Advocate on Record examination of Supreme Court of India. I hope you might have grabbed a cup of coffee or tea and you might be fully settled to listen to my this video, which is very important case in the history of medical negligence in India. So going deep into this case, I am diving through the case. The case is Dr. Balram Prasad versus Kunal Saha of 2014. 2014 and is a landmark judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the realm of medical negligence. I can say it set a record for the highest compensation awarded in a medical negligence case in India and significantly influenced the standards of medical care and accountability. So, firstly, let us explore the background. When the incident occurred, how this situation arose. In 1998, Kunal Saha, an Indian American doctor, brought his wife named Anuradha Saha to Calcutta for treatment after she developed fear and rashes. She was treated by a team of doctors, Dr. Sukumar Mukherjee, Dr. Vaidyanath Helder, and Dr. Balram Prasad at the Advanced Medical Research Institute AMRI hospital. Then came the tragic outcome. The doctors diagnosed her condition as an allergic reaction and administered high doses of steroids, which worsened her condition. She was transferred to Breach Candy Hospital in Mumbai, where she passed on May 28, 1998, from complications relating to toxic epidermal necrolysis, shortly known as TEN, allegedly due to the wrongful treatment. Naturally, there from there started legal proceedings. Dr. Kunal Saha filed a case of medical negligence against the doctors and AMRI hospital in the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, shortly known as NCDRC. The NCDRC found the doctors and hospital guilty of negligence and awarded the compensation. Dissatisfied with the amount, Saha appealed to the Supreme Court. So now the Honorable Supreme Court comes into picture to give observation of that. So before the Honorable Supreme Court, the key issues were firstly, why the why their medical negligence in the diagnosis and treatment of Anuradha Saha by the doctors and the hospital. Second issue was, what is the standard of care expected from medical professionals? Third was, how should compensation for medical negligence be calculated, particularly in the case of loss of life? just as in this case. So, after detailed discussion and going through the record, our Honorable Court gave observations. Firstly, negligence by the doctors. The court concluded that the doctors failed to meet the standards of care expected in treating Anuradha Saha. It noted that administration of high doses of steroids without proper monitoring amounted to gross medical negligence. Now coming to vicarious liability of the hospital. AMRI hospital was held vicariously liable for the negligence of its doctors and staff. Then it reiterated standard of care and held that medical professionals owe a duty of care to treat their patients and must exercise reasonable skill and competence in treatment. A breach of this duty that leads to harm constitutes negligence. Now, coming to the part of compensation, the court laid down principles for calculating compensation in medical negligence cases. Number one, loss of life and its impact on the family. This should be the factor. The deceased income, career prospect, and contribution to the family. This should be the factor. And non-pecuniary damages such as pain, suffering, and mental agony to be taken into care while calculating the compensation. So the court also took into account the high cost of medical treatment abroad and the emotional distress faced by Kunal Saha. His wife has gone, who was also doctor. So you can imagine the situation. So the court gave judgment, which is historical one in our the medical history. Compensation awarded. The Honorable Supreme Court awarded a compensation of a record of 6.08 which crores, which was later updated with interest to amount 11 crores to Kunal Saha, making the highest compensation for medical negligence in India at that time. So it also fixed accountability. The doctors and the hospital were held jointly and severely liable to pay the compensation. And now, after such a judgment, there is also a significant result on the society. So, firstly, it underscored accountability in healthcare and the need for higher accountability among medical professionals and hospitals, emphasizing that gross negligence will not go unpunished. Then there was impact on medical standards. It set a benchmark for the standard of care required in the medical profession, encouraging better practices to avoid liability. Then, compensation standards. The judgment established detailed guidelines for determining compensation in medical negligence cases, balancing the victim's loss with deterrence for negligence practices. Consumer rights. The case reinforced the idea that patients are consumers under the Consumer Protection Act entitled to claim compensation for deficiencies in service. So there was criticism as well praise. Every judgment has its own pros and cons. The medical community expressed concern about the judgment, arguing that high compensation award could lead to defensive medical and medicine and increased healthcare costs. Nonetheless, the case remains a milestone in protecting patients' rights and ensuring justice in cases of medical negligence. So, this is all about in this 30th case of advocate on record examination. As I committed, I daily take 2 to 3 hours to study the case law, as these case laws are of more than 1000 pages. So I am taking my pain. You please also take pain to go through this brief and enjoy your results of the advocate on record examination. Thanking you for watching this video, and I hope you will go through the advocate on record examination comfortably, and I will be proud that I had done a good job for my legal fraternity. That's all. God bless you all. Thank you and namaskar.